Just a reminder, this show is PG-13, so you may hear a naughty word or two. Welcome to our coverage of the Paris Olympic Games. We have an upset. Oka Shinosuke is the Olympic all-around champion, Japan's fourth straight Olympic men's all-around champion. But Felix Dolce's grips really tried to steal the show tonight. It's July 31st, and we're coming to you live from Paris, France. Welcome to the number one gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. I'm Jessica, and I'm here with Spencer from the Balance Beam Situation. And welcome to all of our new listeners from around the world. We do this every week, all year around, all quad long. So we hope you will stick around to watch all of these gymnasts at the Olympics compete in NCAA season and all the other things that are happening. All of them are competing. One of the Canadian men's team gymnasts who went to Penn State here in the U.S. competing at the Olympics, he just proposed to his girlfriend at the Eiffel Tower after men's team finals. Romance. That's another thing you get here at Gymcastics, the Romance Report. If you are a Club Gym Nerd member, switch over to your members only feed so you can listen to the bonus discussion, which is about another 30 to 40 minutes of behind the scenes stories and more in-depth conversation about the meets. And instructions are in the show notes. Remember, this Friday we have a virtual live show, which we've never done before. Friday, August 2nd, that's the off day between the end of all around and the event finals. On Trampoline Day, it's at 9 p.m. Paris time, noon Pacific time. We're going to talk all about the Olympics with some special guests, and a portion of the proceeds will benefit a shelter for animals and pets in Ukraine, and also Henrietta Onodi, Hungarian, her medical fund, great Olympian. Tickets now at gymcastic.com. So let us discuss the results.
Men's all-around final gave us a close meet and an upset. So really delivered for us. Oka Shinosuke is the Olympic all-around champion by 2.233 over Jungbo Hung in second. So this is going into the competition. I don't think I saw a single person, including me, predict Oka as Olympic all-around champion. There was a lot of bronze, a lot of, good potential for bronze, but this was supposed to be the fight between Jungbo Hung and Hashimoto Daiki. Hashimoto won the Tokyo Olympic title. Jungbo Hung won 2021 Worlds, Hashimoto 2022 Worlds, Hashimoto 2023 Worlds when Jung wasn't there. They have gone back and forth. They have, on an ideal day, the top two scoring potentials in the men's all-around field. So it was really supposed to be a back and forth between the two of them. And then Oka Shinosuke said, actually, what about hitting? You could hit and win. And I do think watching this whole competition. Yeah, go ahead.
What about not doing accidental headstands in the middle of your routine? That's what he said.
Also,
we'll get to that. Yes,
a fall, but also amazing.
Yes, we'll get in depth to that because there were many accidental dismounts on many body parts today.
But I do think watching the whole competition, this is sort of what you want as the winner you want as a gym nerd, because Oka's performance fulfilled the desire for a champion that hit their whole routine with clean. All six routines with clean gymnastics with difficulty as well. It was a champion performance, not I have a high D score, but I fell and kind of was iffy, but I can still win because I have a high D score. It was, I'm going to win by hitting all of my routines and being very comfortable with everything I perform for the most part, because he also might be a miracle, because there were several times, including vault, where I was like, this is super short. There's no way he's going to land it. He came in super deep and then said, actually, that's what a stick is. Actually, yep. I stuck this landing. I was like, how are you doing this?
It also, can I just say that throughout this competition, from podium training through qualifications through team finals, he has seemed just the most chill, happy to do gymnastics the whole time gymnast here. It's really stood out to me because the Olympics are freaking stressful. And people, you will see people literally their toe hair touches the mat for their last routine. They burst into tears and are sobbing because it's just so much pressure. You thought of this your whole life potentially, and it means a lot to you. And he has just been like, I love gymnastics. That routine was fun. I love being here. I love my teammates with the Olympics. I enjoy this routine very much. And I would too if the gymnastics was that easy. I mean, the skills look so easy for him. It looks really fun.
And then we have Jungwoo Hung, silver medalist, who famously, going back to the Tokyo Olympics when Hashimoto won, famously was left off the Chinese team for what feel like, I'm going to go say very political reasons, because he was so good even then and wasn't on the Chinese team controversially. He's here now, obviously the best gymnast China has, and was the runaway leader in qualification, had almost a 2-point edge, was certainly the favorite, I think, in most people's minds heading into this all-around final. And then we go to floor in the first rotation. And do you want to describe the pass that happened for Jungwoo Hung on floor? Because I physically am not sure exactly how or what that happened, but I also want someone to do it intentionally because it would be great.
It was amazing. He did, I can't remember what pass, but it's his second pass on floor, and he landed short, but with enough oomph in his landing that he bounced onto his hands and into a headstand, and then sort of a tripod situation. Nothing dangerous. His head was fine, but just enough to be,
but not ideal. That was supposed to be a twisting combination pass, and not a back 2.5-ish to back front half turn headstand. It was wild looking.
It was hilarious. And you also, it was one of those moments where oh, he's probably going to be really bummed, but from a comedy standpoint,
the rest of us also, that was hilarious looking. Yeah, but I think it signaled to us that we have a meet, that this is not going to be a runaway competition for Jung, which it really could have been if he had hit his ideal competition and got, almost to the mid 88 like he did in qualification. He would have run away with this, but that is not what happened. It signaled from the first rotation that was not what was going to happen today. Bronze medal.
I want to go back to Jean for a second. He had a spill on high bar, and it was like, oh god, because it was still kind of close.
In the warm up, not in the
in the warm up. Yeah. Just in his warm up, and it was like, oh my god, what's going to happen? But then, and he had a big overarch on his handstand in his final routine. And what's their separation? 0.3 in the final score?
0.233. Yeah.
0.233. So
you feel like that's what did it.
Yeah, I was like,
he was coming out of
shut, nailed, hammers. It's over.
Jungwoo Hung anchored the final rotation on high bar, needing a good, strong score of 15 to win, but that's a very doable score for him. So you kind of felt like, okay, it's in his hands. And even going into, until about most of the last routine, I was like, Jung's going to be the gold medalist, though. This is what's going to happen. And then he was doing his close to the bar giants and then came out of them and had that big arch. Although the feed I was watching, I saw it from behind and I was like, little arch, not that big of a deal. But it was like, no, it was a big arch and seemed like the difference maker in gold silver.
Yep.
Xiao Roteng, bronze medalist, very clean competition, very good day. And I will say it was clear before the meet started that he was going to win a medal, because we learned from Simone yesterday that if you mess up walking out, then you were going to win, then you were relaxed enough to win. And when Xiao walked out, he missed his mark entirely. There's a mark, you're supposed to hit it in the center. He was like, nope, walked right past it and almost walked into the camera. Just walked right through it. Just no, into the camera. I was like, oh, he's winning a medal. That means he's relaxed enough and he's going to win a medal. It was another situation where I was like, Kovtun has this at a certain point in the competition. Ilya Kovtun of Ukraine, who finished 4th, also very close, just 0.2 out of the bronze medal. He had a rough qualification, but pulled it back on the events where he needed to pull it back and hit today. And that floor routine in the last rotation was so good. And so many good landings and a really beautiful routine. And I was like, it is his. And then Xiao Roteng was like, how you think I'm going to get a mid 13 on high bar because I'm not that good at it? I'm going to get a 14. I'm going to do the best high bar routine I've ever done ever and get a 14.233. So he ended up bronze. Ilya Kovtun's 4th. Hashimoto, potential favorite to win heading in, at least still considered, I think, favorite for silver as of this morning before the final. Mm-hmm. Something is just not quite right with him this whole Olympics.
I'm telling you,
hitting good routines here and there. Yeah.
He says it's fine. I mean, he says not bothering him, but you know, like he fell on pommel horse, and it was like an accidental. Like he was there, and then all of a sudden he was straddling pommel horse with a armpit, and I'm telling you, pommel horse. If you have finger problems, pommel horse will end you. These are just facts. He got up and finished his routine fine, but I don't know. Yeah, he also like the minute that Oka won, he just like. He was so encouraging to him and like, go and run to the team. And then like after his, teammate had his moment, then he burst into tears too. I just feel like I don't know, there's only a few people who know what it's like to defend an Olympic title. Simone.
I mean, are you going to name all the people who won the title?
Nadia.
Yes. Not that many people.
The all-around, very few. There's like 6. Right. Yeah. So yeah, I think maybe that was a lot. And also it just seems like he's been a little injured and just is like not quite there. I mean, his gymnastics is incredible. He's amazing. Like I have nothing to take away from him, but just not quite where he was. And
yes. And we saw that in moments like first rotation floor, huge improvement over qualification. When Jung had a fall and then Hashimoto hit a great floor and he had gained already 2 points back just in that first rotation, and you thought, okay, this is on. But then he went to pommel horse, fell again. He fell in the team final on pommel horse as well. That P-bars routine, which can be a great score for him, and it was pretty good, but then his dismount, when his chest was way forward and he hopped, and his high bar dismount wasn't quite there. He just wasn't quite on for most of his routines, and it added up and added up. Of course, the fall on pommel horse being the biggest thing, but it added up, and suddenly he was 6th, which I think was a huge surprise. Would not have picked that going into the Olympics, that Hashimoto would finish 6th in the all-around final.
Yeah. Also, going back to Ilya Kovtun for a second, from Ukraine, I just have to say the Ukrainian team just seems to have gotten past all their issues. Remember, there was like some sort of infighting about who was training where and, who was staying in Ukraine, who wasn't, and all that stuff. And it was just, they seem very supportive of each other now. Igor was on the floor helping Oleg and Kovtun. They just seem to be better generally, more cohesive, supportive as a team. Also, but the minute he landed his routine, like Ilya Kovtun, his coach was in tears. Like she thought that he had it. She was, he came off the floor and, she was so excited. And then, then it wasn't to be. But it's still huge. I mean, the Ukrainian men have done so well here is just a gigantic statement. And it's awesome. And,
and 2 top 8 finishes in this final because Oleg Vernayev also had a really solid day for where he is right now gymnastically, which is not where, when he almost won the Olympic all-around title. It's not the same Oleg gymnastics, but you see the moments of it mostly on P-bars.
P-bars.
Like, this is,
like, oh, Olympic champion. Here we go. Yes.
This is exceptional. And he had some great moments as well today, but then he has to, do high bar. And it's just unfair.
It's so wrong to make anyone do that.
Don't make Oleg do high bar. The British also had a very strong day. Joe Fraser in 5th, Jake Jarman in 7th. Really nice again. Just delightful to watch Jake Jarman. He's going to have some lower scores like on rings and high bar because he doesn't have the difficulty, and that takes down his all-around total. But I think he had just a really strong, really well-hit day overall.
I really like that at this Olympics. I feel like they should do this at Worlds too. Before a world champion goes, or before someone who's made event finals, for example, goes, they say, oh, we want to highlight this routine for you. So-and-so made the beam final. And before Jake Jarman's vault, they were like, oh, and coming up on vault is the reigning world champion on vault, Jake Jarman. And I'm like, these are the things that the crowd wants to know. If you don't want to, you want to know there's all these events going, who should I watch? And like, if you're an athlete, you are tuning it out. You're just looking for the green light, or you're looking for the judge's hand to go up. You're not thinking about that. So I feel like, if you listen, maybe it puts pressure, but you also know you're the reigning world champion. Like, shit, that's not gonna be news to him. I really like that they are doing that, and I wish they would do it at World Championships.
I think also specifically for men's gymnastics in terms of as a viewing experience, one of the things they can improve is directing the audience's attention. And that's the kind of thing that directs the audience's attention. So you know more, you can follow it better as a sporting event when all of these things are going on. You don't necessarily know if you're like a casual, especially a casual observer who doesn't necessarily know the ins and outs of parallel bars. that could be really helpful to just direct, here's the direction this sporting event is heading, rather than just like, sit here and watch some things, which I kind of feel like sometimes when men's gymnastics is advertised, it's like, they're great and it's so exciting and high flying, and it's just like, sit here and watch some things. It's like, direct the sporting event. This is what's important right now.
Right. I do want to talk about some more of the men's competition, but I think it is important. We've gone 15 minutes and we have not addressed Simone's Instagram post. And I think this is
Jessica's so glad that you don't have to talk about men's anymore because you have important Simone Instagram news to talk about.
Literally, the whole chat is started talking about this. So
yeah, I get it. It's
major news. Yeah. I mean, this is the Give No F's team. The self-named themselves Golden Girls now, and when you're a Golden Girl.
Which, like, I get it, but no, I'm sorry. You already said the fuck around and find out 5. You already submitted the application. It is being processed. You could not resubmit a second worse application after it. You are the fuck around and find out 5, and you will be forever, and that's just it. Golden Girls, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, no. It's also not true because you're just like the average age of the other teams that medaled too. So, Simone Biles had an epic clapback. And she posted a picture of the team winning with the flag. And then the caption says, "Lack of talent, lazy Olympic champions, heart gold medal, USA flag." And then Sunisa Lee posted, "Put a finger down if Simone Biles just ended you," with a hand emoji. Eesh. And then Michaela Maroney posted, "It doesn't get more iconic than this. She effed around and found out for real. Feels like I need to apologize just to redeem my first name." Ooh. Then Jordan Chiles, and that's period. Yeah. Lori Hernandez, laughing my ass off. I love you all. Madison Koshin, deserving champs forever. Even, this is the thing, USAG even posted some like laughing faces, and I was like, oh, well, USAG, stay in your lane. You're not Wendy's, which we'll get to in a minute. But the pile-on happened. Yeah. So for people that aren't familiar with, this is a decade in the making post. A brief history of the beef.
Okay.
Shall I give a brief history of the beef? Here we go.
Sure. Go for it.
Michaela Skinner, the first thing that happened when Simone Biles and Michaela Skinner were going to camps together, there was a report of a racism. A word was used, and Simone was very upset about it. It was reported. They were then never allowed to room together. They had to be apart to protect Simone. That was that. Then there was Michaela Skinner, when she was in high school, posted a conversation between her and a friend, recounting a conversation where her friend uses the N-word. And then she was asked by Rhonda Fain at the time, who was vice president of USA Gymnastics, to apologize, to say something. She asked her coaches. She reached out to the gym. She asked her personally, like, you need to, apologize for this. She refused. Her coaches wouldn't make her do it. Her parents wouldn't make her do it. Then there was the Olympic trials, where she replaced Gabby Douglas in a team photo with a picture of herself.
And I will say someone did it. She reposted that. She
reposted it, yes.
But just for clarification.
Yeah. Right. Thank you for clarifying that. And there were several other things. But after Olympic trials, the U.S. Olympic trials, she posted a video talking about trials, and she was upset that people weren't hitting routines, and said that people were lazy and girls just don't want to work the way they did. And then she couldn't remember Hesley's name, and it just did not go well, and people were very upset about it, and she got really dragged for that. And so and then she clarified and apologized, and she did say, "I just meant the girls in my gym when I go back and visit. I didn't mean you guys." But the apology didn't seem to go far enough, because Simone had to make a statement. So, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm entertained thoroughly. Well, I think that's the extent of my thoughts. Like, yeah, I'm delighted by all of this. This is fun. You should.
Yep.
This is the thing, because like we have experience in the industry of having takes about gymnastics. It's what we do professionally. If you're gonna have a take and a hot take and be happy about posting that publicly, you have to be okay if people are gonna come back with stuff and be like, actually, that was an idiotic thing to say and you shouldn't have said it. You have to be okay with that. Otherwise, you shouldn't have started talking in the first place. So yeah, of course Simone is gonna say that, and like, good for her. And I'm thoroughly entertained by it.
Then there was a post today where it was showing that I can't remember who posted that, but it was showing that Michaela Skinner blocked Simone. So the beef
not
continues.
helping yourself, Michaela. It doesn't.
Yeah, no.
Does not help.
Beef championships are still being dominated by Simone, so, as usual. That's what's happening. Yeah. Oh, also the Wendy's account. Did you see Wendy's? Wendy's is already makes the news. They're doing it again.
Yeah. So which of you runs the Wendy's social media?
Someone on here is 100% behind the Wendy's social media. So Wendy's was made a comment about Kaylee Namor, like shopping at Sephora, or someone was shopping at Sephora, and said something about, oh, she's just living her best life out here winning medals. And then went on to post, oh, Van Leeuwen to Nabieva to blah, blah, blah. And someone else is like, close Wendy's. But here's the actual routine, because gym nerds have to be right. And so they posted the whole plus this, that. And then Wendy's, proving they're the truer gym nerd, responded by saying, I went to Brechtians. That's why I can't do bars. Boom!
I like that the show has just become Jessica recaps social media, which I do enjoy. It's way more fun than looking at it myself. Just Jessica giving me the highlights. I prefer it very much so.
Wendy's. I mean, it's, if you're going to pick a place for fast food, I think Wendy's clearly proved that they are worth your dollar. So yeah, I like it very much. Also, there's another thing I should tell you guys about. We're going to talk more about men's a little bit, and I have some Rager meter. You guys have a Rager meter today.
Okay.
But also, did you catch where I saw a bunch? This is on like lesbian TikTok, is all over this. But Lori Hernandez, someone asked her, these people were roommates and now they're blah, blah, blah. And then asked a question, and Lori Hernandez repeats, they were roommates. And then answers the question, which is, roommates.
Roommates. Yeah.
Roommates. The gay code right there. So she made a nod, and it was beautiful. And that made me very, very happy. And Charlotte is here. She calls Charlie, her girlfriend's here, the Olympic alternate for trampoline as well. Okay, so other things that happened. Joe Frazier. Yeah. Starting the meet. Let me just tell you about the meet.
Okay.
For a second. The meet starts. Joe Frazier.
Should we talk about a meet? What?
About the Olympics.
Let me tell you about a meet. Let me tell you about an Olympic championship.
It was very, not empty when the meet started, but all the VIP areas were very empty, and then it slowly filled up.
You can't take them anywhere.
I know, that's the thing though. But it starts off, Joe Frazier lands his pass, like his they're just doing one touch, lands out of bounds and falls, lands out of bounds. Wasn't even close. Then Dike goes on the other side and like land rolls off the floor completely onto the podium. And I was like, well, it's a men's meet. Here we go. It's definitely a men's meet.
They were ready for you.
Frederick Richard started his meet with an unintentional arm straddle of pommel horse.
Yeah. So we should talk about the U.S. men's performance a little bit. So where did they end up? Paul Judah was 14th. Frederick Richard was 15th. And I felt like watching their performance, it was very much a like, we already did it, you guys.
We gave you everything.
We did, like, it was the team final and that was the Olympics, and we did it. Like, we're done.
Yep. I mean, this is the thing. Frederick said afterwards that he kind of felt like, even though they had the day off yesterday, that like he had really it had taken more out of him than he anticipated. Mm-hmm. And that, I mean, that's that's an understandable thing. Like, and also like just the adrenaline rush of, I don't think people take this into account. The adrenaline rush of winning a bronze and then, the letdown, and then, you have to get your
all the
adrenaline
stuff
back
you
up.
have to do afterward, the media and the we're like Steven Nedrusik is famous now, I guess, and all of that that goes along with it is also then I think as draining as the competition itself.
Yep. I did really appreciate that while the U.S. men had to do the sit on the couch in front of the Eiffel Tower thing, had to. I mean, they had to be up late night NBC. Yeah. But they did not make the men, Judah and Frederick, go to the next day's media. So they didn't have to stay up all night and do all of that stuff. So that's good. But, Nedoroscik needs to be as famous as him. Did you see the jokes today about him being the Kamala Harris's VP pick?
Oh, great. I mean, a solid choice.
She wanted a specialist. Yeah. There you go.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
U.S. men, Paul Judah. Also, Paul Judah was not going to be in medal contention with his D scores. He had a fine competition, but not the competition that he had previous to this, where he was just nailing everything. Like his vault, which is typically, that's a downgrade for him, and it's pretty comfortable vault for him. He landed short. He had some other errors. He did another accidental tuck on floor where it was just that's not the pass I intended. So it was just kind of that it was the hangover day performance for the U.S. men. But Frederick Richard he was in contention theoretically for a medal in the all-around. I think the way it ended up, the score was going to be too high for him, even if he had a great day. But he could have been in contention. But then it was right from the start, it was I'm getting through it today, and I'm going to do some cool things on high bar, and that's going to be fun for everyone. But it's not going to be the meet.
Yeah. I do love that Paul Judah kissed the pommel horse when he was done. He finished his meet. He was like, I won a medal. I made the all-around final. This is the greatest week of my life. Yeah. So,
the fact that he could consistently stay on pommel horse for an entire Olympics is one of the biggest, if not the biggest reason he was on this team. Especially with everyone having trouble on pommel horse at trials that made Steven Nedoroscik a lock, and nationals and trials. It was pommel horse, you have given me the gift of an Olympic bronze medal because I can stay on you. It's an important relationship.
Yes. Did you see the situation that happened with Canada?
With Felix Dolce on high bar? Yes, I did.
Oh my God. So I just looked over and just see him just snap off the bar at the bottom of a tap during his routine.
Yeah, he was about to dismount.
Yeah, about to dismount. And he just, it was like a car accident. He crumpled sideways in half. Not backwards or forwards, sideways, as if something external folded him over sideways. It was so scary. And I saw him lift his hand up and just something fall off his hand. And I was like, oh my God, did his freaking grip break? So his
I thought you were saying, oh my God, does his hand fall off? It's men's gymnastics. You would not be that surprised.
I would not. But yeah, so he was being checked out for a while. That was a very scary fall. Luckily it was not his head, just his spine. It was no big deal. But he got to go again because that is an equipment failure. So he got
once he got up, he held up his grip and was like, look, everybody, the culprit.
This bastard.
We have found the mystery is solved. We have found the culprit. It's this stupid grip.
So because it was an equipment failure, he got to exit the podium, hang out for a minute, regroup, and then he got to go again.
High bar routine.
Yeah, he got to do the whole thing over again, had another fall. But the crowd response was amazing afterwards. When he had that fall, which was also the crowd was totally cheering for him. He got back up, he did his routine. The crowd was going nuts for him. He finished. The crowd went even more nuts for him. I swear to God, the way to win over a crowd is just fall off and make it look scary and then get back up. They will remember you forever. If you want to be remembered, you're not going to win a medal. This is what to do. And then do hearts at the audience. They love it. This is what I love about this audience, though, because they're it doesn't matter where you're from, anything. The other time they really, really, really clapped hard was when Oleg was in first place all around. Well, like from Ukraine, Oleg Ranayev, and they were like, "This is the greatest thing ever," not knowing, of course, he had to do other events.
High bar, yeah. I would recommend about Felix Dolce's fall, the replay we got, I think, on OBS from above. Don't watch it because it makes it look 1,000 times scary. It makes it look like his leg, like it makes it look like Samir on vault at that Olympics. And which is not what happened, but that view from above makes it look even like, don't watch it. It's so creepy.
I have some behind the scenes stories and I have some more gymnastics to tell you guys about. But I have some people behavior rager meters. It's that time where we've been here for a week and a half and there have been many meets and people and all the muggles are here. So I've had it with them and I would like to get it off my chest. But here's how our Olympic coverage works. So Spencer watches every detail from home and makes sure to tell us what angles not to watch so that we can continue to enjoy gymnastics, makes the GIFs and the spreadsheets. I watch in the arena and then I go to the mix zone, talk to the athletes, go to the press conferences after the meet. And that's how I'm able to ask people specific questions, not just speculate about things. I can actually ask them personally. And then I rush to the Metro, get back here, we jump on here and record. And then after we're done recording live, when our collective members can ask us questions, then we put out the headlines for everyone. So everybody always gets, 25 minutes, half an hour of all the most important things that happened. And then we continue the discussion for our Club Gym Nerd members to support us all year. They're how we can be here at the Olympic Games. Because you can't just show up and be like, give me your intro for the Olympic Games. You have to cover gymnastics for years and years and years and years and years continuously and travel to world championships and cover it in person. And that's how you earn a credential to the Olympics. So we are so grateful to them. And so we do a little extra for them. And I get to get things off my chest because I'm freaking annoyed. Okay. So you guys, don't forget that you can get Amy Borman's book about how she got Simone Biles to win 19 medals and not quit gymnastics is coming out. It's called The Balance. And also Fantasy League is up for event finals and also live show tickets at Dreamcast.com. And if you're not a member, we will see you tomorrow after women's all-around finals. I'm so excited. So we'll see you guys then. All right, you guys. The freaking... Can I tell you about these jerks? There are people... Let me just tell you what happened today.